So if you want to become unrecognizable, if you want to achieve all of your goals, you need to shift your identity. That is the fastest and the best way to achieve everything that you want. And I constantly talk about this throughout my channel and in my content. You have to stop, especially if you're an entrepreneur, stop chasing the goal and start chasing the identity that will get you there. And again, the best advice that I got with this was from one of my mentors, and he told me try to identify what is that version of you that already has those things, those businesses. What does that look like? Break that down and embody that. And the thing with this is that you have to have the courage to leave the old you behind. You have to have the courage to literally destroy who you used to be, your old self, to shift your identity from that to the new identity that will allow you to finally do the things that you got to do to achieve the goals. But most people don't have the courage to do that. Most people self-sabotage because failure and because the lack of opportunity, scarcity, that's all they've ever known. That is all they've ever known. So they know, everybody knows deep down who they need to be in order for them to achieve their desired state. Everybody. But only 1% of people, and hopefully you're one of the 1%, only 1% of people are actually able and willing to destroy who they used to be, right? And start with a clean slate and reinvent themselves. Become unrecognizable to the people who are so used to their old image. So many people are afraid of letting that go, letting the old identity go, because they are so scared. And I went through this myself. They're so scared of, if I destroy my old self, if I let go of that identity, what are my friends going to think about this? What is my mom going to think about this? What is my girlfriend going to think about this? No, let me stay here. Let me not evolve. Let me not crack the surface. Let me please everyone around me but myself. Let me shy away and literally self-sabotage my entire potential and hold myself back, limit my own potential to make everyone happy. But I got to ask you, and I want to ask you, is this how you're willing to live? Is this how you're willing to live? You know deep down right now, you know what you got to do. You know who you need to become. You know that you have to shift your identity to be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve. It might be a business model. It might be 20K per month, 50K per month, whatever. You know what you got to do. But are you willing to let go of who you are right now to get to the next level? Are you willing to let that behind? Leave that behind? Or are you just focused on some surface level things, some quick hacks here and there, some things that you do to lie to yourself that, I'm actually achieving my goals? Look at the habits that you have right now. Look at the things that you're doing and compare that to the identity of you that has achieved already your goals. Is there alignment there? Because if you're not, if you're not aligned right now with who you need to be, then you're just lying to yourself, and it's going to be borderline impossible for you to achieve the things that you want so bad. And I'm seeing this every day with entrepreneurs that literally self-sabotage, and business owners and content creators that self-sabotage because they have all of the potential in the world. But they're so scared of taking that leap, letting the old identity go, and embodying the new identity, embodying the new habits, even the way they talk, right? It took me a long time. You know what was the hardest thing in terms of creating content and all of this, building the personal brand, the consulting business, coaching others? The hardest thing are not the strategies. That finally clicked in my brain. The hardest thing is changing who you are internally so everything is effortless on the outside. That is the hardest thing. It's not a strategy. Is how can I bridge the gap between who I am right now, which is not enough, and the new identity? How do I do that? And again, if you let that fear of, oh my God, what are these friends gonna think? Like what is this person gonna think? If you let that control you, then you don't be surprised when you're not successful. Because you let that fear limit your own potential, and that's the thing, you hold yourself back. You are the bottleneck, you are the limitation. You hold yourself back from achieving that potential. And so many people, they're so used to their life so far that they cannot, and please listen to me when I say this, they cannot transcend who they currently are or what they currently do, and they're positioning themselves to just be stuck in this box. So for context, before business, I used to do music. In 2022, after basically music was my life. I had a career. My music started to really go. I was investing thousands and thousands. I was an independent artist into music videos, projects. It was wild. I realized that my place is not in the music industry. So I transcended that. And immediately, with no remorse, no regret, no nothing, immediately, with no second thought, I said, you know what? That's it. This chapter of my life is over. Because my life is only moving forward. I cannot look in the rearview mirror. I cannot look back. And I immediately transcended that space. Now, everybody around me, especially people in the music industry, they were like, dude, how can you do that? Like, how can you just let that go, right? To a lot of people, that is like a failure. Like, oh, you stopped because... No, I stopped because it wasn't aligned. I realized like I wasn't aligned with that environment. And so I left. I transcended that. Right? If I'm in a business that does not satisfy me, I had an agency, I shut it down. Why do you think I shut it down? Because I hated working with those type of clients. In that type of like no leverage, low ticket kind of like environment. I had an e-com store that was literally successful, making 6 figures a year, that I shut down. Why? Because deep down, I realized it was just a money-making thing that wasn't satisfying me at a like really deeper level. And I transcended that. So you're not the business model. You're not your job. You're not your career. You're way more than that. And that's the thing. A lot of people nowadays, they're only like, they're one-dimensional. Right? They're not multi-dimensional. They're not like, they just attach their whatever identity to whatever their career is, right? To whatever their perception of their partner or their friends is to them. And that's the thing, they cannot transcend that. They cannot transcend that. And you got to sit with yourself and really be honest. Look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, am I willing to trade who I could be and that ideal new identity of myself? Am I willing to trade that for this? For just limiting myself? For what? You limit yourself because you are afraid that if you change, and once you change, once you evolve, the people in your life are going to go away. The people in your life are going to hate on you. The people in your life already are going to drift away. And you guys are going to drift apart. That's why you're afraid. And you got to challenge that fear right now. You have to challenge, what am I so afraid of? And I would argue most people are not afraid of failure. Most people are afraid of success. Most people are afraid of achieving everything that they want to achieve because they are well aware deep down, even on a subconscious level, they're well aware, they're well aware that that requires a new identity. And guess what? Destroying who you used to be is painful. Because the bad habits, the coping mechanisms, the addictions, that's the cost. That's the price you got to pay. And it hurts because if all you've ever known is that, if all you've ever known is bad shit, that's going to hurt. Because you got to let all of that go and just step into this new identity, into this new world. And that is scary. That is scary. And that's I think the biggest difference between the people that are really truly successful, and I'm not just talking about the financial aspect, and the people and the let's call it like the winners versus, the losers. The biggest difference is, am I willing to, transcend or not? Am I willing to constantly transform myself or not? Throughout my life, ever since I was in I think in primary school, like I constantly shifted my identity. I constantly transcended. When I was growing up, I grew up in a bad environment. Like I grew up with good kids, but with the bad kids as well on the street and doing like dumb shit. I transcended that. I wasted so much time with people that were just having like bad habits, doing drugs, doing like stupid things. But I transcended that environment. I did stupid things myself. I'm not perfect. I'm never going to be perfect. This is not about being perfect. But I was able to look beyond and transform my mind, renew my mind, and look beyond the four walls that were surrounding me. And that's how I was able to get here. And you know what? The people from the past, once you do change your identity, they will judge you. They will judge you. They will hate. They will point their fingers. They will call you out. They will say, "Oh, who does he think he is? I got that throughout my life." But that's what winners get. That's what winners get, especially if you're trying to create content, if you're trying to create a personal brand online. Like people that never put themselves on camera will judge you for shifting your identity and, being able to show up as yourself on camera. Because I don't care who you are, we're all self-conscious to a degree, right? So if I'm, when I'm talking to the camera, I'm talking to you, but like I'm talking to the camera. So in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, these people are gonna judge me. So to be able to transcend that, you have to shift a lot internally. And there are a lot of people who don't, and then they judge you for doing that. But that comes with the dinner. Everything comes. So again, right now, try to challenge yourself. Like, am I afraid? Am I afraid of letting go? Letting go of these bad things and ascending to the next level? And this might be for you, it might be like a specific thing, like letting go of like smoking, drinking, letting go of partying, being locked in with your business, investing in yourself, investing in mentorship, selling an asset that doesn't serve you anymore, traveling, being in a different environment. Challenge that fear. What am I so afraid of? What am I so afraid of? And also, please understand, like, there's gonna be a price to pay. You either pay with the pain of change and the pain of transformation, the pain of shifting your identity, and that obviously requires a lot of discipline and a lot of vision, a lot of you looking forward. You're gonna pay that price, or you're gonna pay the price of staying the same. That's it. And the price of staying the same, the debt with that's gonna be huge. And most people, that's the thing, most people stay the same. Most people, I swear to God, like I know people from high school that are literally the same. And if they do meet me, they're like, I don't even recognize you anymore. Right. Because that's the intention. My intention is to constantly transform. I transform myself every 6 months. It's like a checkpoint. Every 6 months, it's a new Andre. It's a new me. Why? Because I'm trying to get to the next level. Does that mean I'm not afraid? No. We all have fears. I'm afraid to let some things go now. But I'm actively working on it. I'm actively opening up the camera and providing some value to you, and like literally doing like a self-improvement on steroids kind of therapy in here to transcend, to constantly transcend, because life is that. So in life, you never stay stagnant. Never stay stagnant. You either grow and you transcend and you shift your identity, or you fall. You fall behind because life keeps moving on. A lot of people are stuck in the past, like, oh, I used to be this. Again, don't attach your identity to anything external. Don't attach it. And there's, so many people are stuck in that, like, oh, I used to be an accountant. So that means I'm forever going to be an accountant. I'm never able to, you know what I mean? I'm never able to transcend that. And if you're there in that place, you either challenge that to win, or you're just going to lose. You're going to lose to people like me, people like who are constantly able to transform who they are. Whatever opportunity I want to attract, whatever business I want to build, I am willing to, obviously, while some limitations are still there and like some fears, but I'm willing to let go of who I am right now and recondition my brain, renew my brain to become that new version of myself that is able to do whatever I want to do. And that's how and why I'm going to be able to completely crush it with this space. All of my clients, like, this is my philosophy. It's like, we're going to have the strategy things in terms of building your personal brand, scaling content, getting clients, the consulting business, but we're also going to have the identity thing. We're also going to work on this because this controls everything that goes on the outside. Every single thing. The fear of becoming who you need to become, becoming unrecognizable, especially to the people who are so attached, like, this is called anchoring, like, they're so attached to a version of yourself from the past or whatever. That fear, that's the reason why you're not successful. There's no strategy, there's no external thing, is that fear. So challenge that fear. Challenge that fear. You have to do that now, because if you don't, the more time you spend in this current identity that is not enough, you're not going to be able to achieve the goals that you want. So challenge the fear and dare to have the courage to transform yourself and to transcend whatever current limitation might be, your environment, your job, career, whatever. Transcend that and ask yourself, how far can I go? How much more can I win? How much more can I learn? Stop living in fear. Stop living in fear. The Bible says, like, do not be afraid 365 times. Don't live in fear. Live with the courage and intentionality to constantly transcend, and everything on the outside will follow.